What's up, everybody? It's your friend Isaac. Welcome back to Big BMX. Today we are going to tackle the most popular question I get asked, and I think a lot of us that are in the scene get asked: what should I buy, a 29 or a 26? What's the difference? Well, I'm this tall, I weigh this much, what should I buy? Let's get into a deep dive on these two bikes. We're going to cover a few things today that make them different and what they're used for, and that way it'll help you kind of get to a closer decision so you know what you're looking at. All right, so for today's deep dive between the 26 and the 29, I'm lucky. I have a 26-inch Supercross and a 29-inch Supercross. So they're essentially very similar. So the differences will be pretty obvious when we look at them. So we're gonna cover the obvious size differences, how they handle, how you can set them up to make them feel comfortable to you, and what they feel like when they ride. Let's get into it. All right, so let's talk about the visual and the size differences between the two bikes. So first and foremost, wheel size. The most apparent difference is, of course, the wheel size. The 26 is smaller wheel diameter compared to a 29-inch. And honestly, it's not just aesthetics. It impacts everything from how quick the bike accelerates, how it handles over obstacles, everything. All right, and even more so, the 26 has a smaller top tube. This is 22.75. The 29 is 23.75. So only 1 inch difference in the top tube, and that makes a lot of difference when you're riding the bike the way it feels. Now, because these are both Supercross bikes, the bottom bracket on both the 29 and the 26 is 11.625. So really the other big difference that you're gonna see is the handlebar and the fork height. Because it's larger diameter wheel, the way it's higher off the ground, you're gonna have a higher fork, which is then going to put the handlebars higher than you see on a 26. So that's going to be the biggest differences that you're going to run into on these two bikes, the way that they look, feel, and handle. And finally, the proportions. If you look at a 26, it does kind of look like a BMX bike that has been scaled up to hit that size, whereas a 29 is just commanding, it's big, and it looks like more of like a beach cruiser. It doesn't have that same stout, kind of aggressive BMX look. It does have a bigger, taller stance with some big BMX handlebars on it. All right, so we're gonna start off with the 26. This is my personal favorite. This is my daily bike that I like to ride. The 26, because it's just a scaled up, version of like a 20, it feels a little bit more aggressive. I can hop easier, it's more throwy. It just has a lot more aggressiveness to it, and I can have fun. In a place like this where there's lots of stairs and steps and things I can bounce around on, it's pretty fun to jump on, and I can hit different angles very confidently on a 26 because it's smaller, it's more peppy, and I can kind of steer it and aim it where I want to go. The other one is it's going to be a little bit faster when you're starting off of like a red light or a stop sign or something like that, because it's easier to control. It's easy because I'm on the ground, I can just jump on and go. Whereas a 29, the wheels take a little bit more, you got to put a little bit more into it to get the wheels going. But once they're going, you're going to maintain that speed. Where on a 26, you're going to be pedaling to maintain versus steady it. So 26 is a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more nimble, a little bit more BMX-y feel is the way I would call it. Very, very fun to ride around on, but not as, say, fast and maneuverable as a 29. All right, so now let's transfer over to the 29. So it's much bigger in the way that the stance, the way that it feels. The standover height, like I am already, man, these handlebars are already real high. I'm already kind of doing a shrug with my shoulders, grabbing them. But this is what I'm talking about. It's just a bigger bike. When I sit on it, it's comfortable, but I do not feel like I could just go. It is definitely one of those, like, I'm gonna push off and kind of pedal away. But the benefits of that is that if you're on a big ride or you're riding with a bunch of people, the smoothness, the stability, the momentum that you have, you're going to spend a lot less calories on this bike riding a longer distance, and you're going to feel more stable, more planted is the way I would call it, a lot more balanced and stable on a 29 because that wheelbase is bigger. You're going to cover a lot more room. It'll just feel a little bit more balanced than, say, a 26. And along with that stability, the bigger tires, I run a little bit wider. I think these are 2.3s. The wider tire, the bigger tire is going to absorb a lot more of these cracks and little inconsistencies in the pavement. It's going to make it a lot more comfortable and smooth when you're riding over obstacles, down curbs, things like that. It's going to feel a lot more comfortable than on a smaller wheel that's going to feel, you'll feel more of those bumps, where this will feel kind of more like cruisy. The best way to describe it, a 26 feels like a sports car. This feels like a big Cadillac. All right, now, this is a big bike. The 26 is a smaller bike, but there are some things you can do to dial in the fit and the feel of the bike by adjusting how high the seat is, how low the seat is, how far forward, how far back. The other thing you can do is dial your handlebars forwards or backwards. You can add spacers below or above your stem to raise the handlebars up or down. And then you can also adjust how long of a stem you have, whether it's a 48 all the way up to like a 56, 58. Let's talk about that right now. All right, y'all, let's talk about seats. Now, we've talked about the 26 and the 29. We've talked about the size differences, but you can actually make a 29 feel smaller and a 26 feel bigger by adjusting the seat. So we're going to talk about railed seats. These are the most common ones. Here is a stock seat and seat post. This is an SE. We've got the higher end ones like the Carrera. This one is unique. On the rail, it actually has some rulers, so you can kind of adjust and dial in. So when you know how forward or backwards you like your seat, you can set it up every time. Here's just a cheap plastic seat, railed, and then another mid railed seats. Let's talk about how this works. So if your seat, right now I have this set right in the middle of the rail. So I got about same amount forward, same amount backwards. That's about normal. If I want to make the bike feel longer, it's a 26, let's say, and I want to give myself more room between the handlebars and the seat, push that back, and now I have more room to work with there. You can kind of see. And if I'm on a 29 and maybe I'm shorter and I want to sit a little bit closer to the handlebars, if I loosen up that bolt right there, I can slide this all the way forward. And now my seat position is about 2 inches forward. So if you look, you've got about 2 inches of play right here. So you can adjust your seat up, down, but also forwards and backwards to dial in your fit to make your bike feel the best it can possibly feel. So my advice, go for a ride, take an Allen key, put your seat right in the middle. So it's right in the middle, about right there. And start there and start adjusting and feel what you feel. All right, next up in dialing in your bike, we have multiple stems here, and there's lots of ways you can use a bicycle stem to adjust the fit and feel of your bike. One way you can do that, if you are, let's say you want to make your bike bigger. This is an Evil Alloy Trident stem, but the difference between the hole there in the top and the hole there, where this right here, right there, where the handlebars go, is longer than, say, this GT mallet stem. So what you want to do is find the stem that's going to match not only the way you want your bike to look, but for me, I look at the performance of it. So I'm looking at the shortest stem that I can find. If I'm on a 29, I want to pull those handlebars back as close to me as possible so I'm not stretched real far. So if I'm on a 26 and I want to make my bike feel longer, I want to give myself some more room for my hands and my handlebars, I would go with a stem like this. It's a little bit longer. Here's another example. This is an Evil Alloy that will have a longer stem. That's the way I would do that. If I'm on a 29, want to bring it closer to me, I would use a shorter stem because the distance between the handlebars and the steer tube is shorter. Now, this one's a 48. This one is a 56. This profile here, this is a 53 millimeter. So you can kind of look around, grab the stem that matches the length that you want. By getting a longer stem, you're going to give yourself more room in front of you. You're going to stretch your handlebars forward. And if you get a shorter stem, you're going to pull the bars more back towards you. And then the other thing you can do, this is a good example. The hole here for the handlebars is, if that's the middle of the stem, the hole's a little bit lower. So this will drop your handlebar height a bit. Flipping it over will raise your stem a bit. Flipping it this way will lower. Just flip that plate around, it'll match whatever, but most stems do. But there you go. You can drop your stem a little bit, raise your stem a little bit, depending on how you set it up. But that's some easy ways you can adjust your bikes using stems, and we talked about previously seats. So adjust the length, adjust the seat, you can dial in the fit and feel of your bike. Welcome back. All right, so now that we've talked about these different stems, what do you want to do? So what I do is if I take this bike, to get the sizing feeling good for me, the standover height, one thing to pay attention to, I have lots of room to bring this front end up on a 26. On the 29, I'll show you I don't. Now, what I do, I sit on the bike, my seat is basically right in my crotch when I'm standing, so I'm planted. That's the perfect feel for me. And then all I do is I raise my hands up, and wherever my hands want to go when I raise them up, that's about where I put the handlebars. So they almost align with the fork. For me, at 5'11", 6 foot tall, that's about where I ride. So this is the perfect feel for me. I have a shorter stem. This is a 48, and I slide the seat forwards and backwards to where it feels comfortable for me to have my hands casually. This is about my riding, my casual riding stance, just like this. Now, I'm going to switch over to the 29. Seat's about the same. I have my feet planted right now, back and forth. Now the standover height, what we're talking about, the bar is right already on my crotch. I can't lift it up very high. So that's an example of how tall these bikes are. With the bigger wheels, the bar is up high. Same thing, I'll sit on the bike. You'll notice these handlebars are pulled back farther than the 26 were, and that's just because I do the same thing. I just rest my hands with the bolts are loose, kind of pull them to where I like it. I feel like I'm comfortable. I'm not hunched over. I'm not real stretched out. I'm like just very comfortable stance right now. That's how I set up the bike. So we have the 26, the 29. I have them set up almost identically as far as like where the seat is, things like that. I was gonna ride them and put the video side by side, but I thought, hey, I have identical twin boys. Come on in, guys. So I have Aiden, I have Bodie. They are going to ride these bikes. We're gonna look at them because they are the same. It's a carbon copy of each other. We're gonna see what they look like riding a 26 and a 29. Let's get into it. Let's go. So we got Aiden here on the 26, just riding normal upright. Bodie, 29. And then here we have Bodie on the 29, Aiden on the 26. So 26, man, it just pops up, very easy to control. My hips can steer the wheelie. 26s, man, are just super comfortable. Very light in the front end, hands off, easy. Very, very comfortable, very easy to control. Love this bike so much. All right, so 29, you guys, much bigger, much more lunky is the way I would describe it. But wheelies are very easy on the 29. Because of that big balance point. So if you're looking to wheelie, man, 29s are great because that balance is just ridiculous. Like, it's not sketchy, very controlled, very fluid for wheelies. All right, you guys, so 29, this is me standing up pedaling. It's very lunky is the way I would describe it, kind of like a big ogre type bike. Now, if what you're looking to do is just pedal around, we're gonna turn here. So look, if all you want to do on your Big BMX bike is ride bikes with your friends, you're not gonna be up doing like you're not gonna be hauling ash, you're not gonna be trying to bunny hop or something a whole lot, a 29, perfect bike for you. Because as I pedal, I'm barely pedaling, but the big wheels make it so that I cover a lot of distance with this 29-inch bike. So very easy to ride, very comfortable. but it is a luggier bike, but just riding over cracks and things like that, you're not gonna feel it. So that's the thing about the 29. Very balanced, but it's also kind of like trying to race a Cadillac that's just kind of floaty. That's what it feels like. All right, so we've swapped out to the 26. This, you guys, I'm telling you, like for me, this is what I'm looking for. This feels like my 80s BMX bikes. It is, I mean, yes, I'm gonna feel these cracks a little bit more that are on the ground. I'm gonna feel bumps, but I'm used to that. That's what I remember, and it's comfortable. So, like standing up and riding your bike, I feel like I can tuck. It's easy to break my glasses. Very easy to pull the front end up because the bike is lighter. Very easy for me to steer and balance because it's lighter. More predictable for me. I understand though that I'm going to, because I have the smaller wheels, I'm gonna pedal more. I'm gonna feel cracks like this in the ground. But I don't mind that because this feel is what I'm looking for. So for me, all the advantages of a 29, stability, easier to pedal, more comfort on the road. Those aren't as important to me and valuable as they might be for you. So when you're making your decision, go with what you're trying to accomplish. Do you want to have a smoother ride, or do you want to feel like you did when you were a kid? It's really the difference you're going for. Some people, you just want to get out and ride a bike. 29, perfect for you. If you want to get out and feel that 80s vibe, have that nostalgic feel in your bike, a 26 might be the best bet for you. But really, at the end of the day, the choice is up to you. Buy the bike that's going to do what you want it to do. It's a tool, so think of it that way. What am I going to be doing on this? Don't buy the bike that just because I'm like, hey, this one's peppier. If you don't plan on bunny hopping or doing wheelies, then it really doesn't matter, my opinion, on how peppy it is. So buy the bike that's going to suit you best. Have fun, y'all. Good luck.